Hello, welcome to the Center of Math's problem of the week. In this week's problem, we're going to be finding the critical points of the function f of xy equals 12x minus x cubed minus 3xy squared plus y cubed. So it's a multivariable function. So if we're going to find the critical points, the first thing we need to do is take the partial derivative with respect to x and the partial derivative with respect to y. So that's what I'm going to do now. So we've got our partial derivatives. So with respect to x, we have 12 minus 3x squared minus 3y squared. And with respect to y, we have negative 6xy plus 3y squared. So what we should do now is we need to find at what values f of xy equals 0 that satisfy both of these equations. So the easiest thing to do is to solve for one of the variables using one equation and then sub that into the other equation so that you know that you're working with both equations when you solve. So I'm going to solve for x in terms of y using f sub y first. So what's important here is that so we've divided by, between these two steps, we've divided by y. So either y equals 2x, or we have to make sure that we include the case where y equals 0, in which case you cannot divide by 0. So first let's keep working with y equals 2x. So let's sub 2x as y into f sub x, and then solve for f sub x equals 0. So when we plug it in, we keep working until we get 0 equals 12 minus 15x squared. And then from there, we're going to have 12 equal 15x squared and solve for x. So we get that x equals plus or minus the square root of 4 over 5. And if we know that x equals plus or minus the square root of 4 over 5, we also know that y equals 2x. So we're going to have our first two critical points be equal to the positive square root of 4 over 5 as the x value, and then 2 times the positive value of square root of 4 over 5, and then negative square root of 4 over 5, and the y value is going to be 2 times the negative square root of 4 over 5. So let's write those over here. So those are our first two critical points. And then, like I said earlier, we have to think about what happens when y equals 0. So if y equals 0, then we get that this term is 0 and that 12 minus 3x squared equals 0, which would make x plus or minus 2. And then if you look down here, this term would equal 0 if y equals 0. And then we have this whole term equaling 0. So then f of y equals 0. So that works out. So then that means that we have our second two values, our second two critical points, which is going to be 2, 0, and negative 2, 0. And those are all four critical points of the given equation. So that concludes this week's problem of the week. Make sure you check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and take a look at our blog at centermath.org. Thank you.